Tonight, a woman struck and killed in Waterloo.
The driver of a large truck collided with a pedestrian that was at the intersection.
The investigation now unfolding into a tragedy this morning. A push to get development flowing again.
Imagine if your entire industry was shut down for 6 months.
A long discussion and frustrations over the region's water worries. Plus, the last slices for a Stratford staple.
I tried to make it work despite everything because my heart is in this.
An unfortunate recipe for the end of a popular pizza shop. Good evening. We begin with a tragic scene in Waterloo. A 23-year-old woman died after being hit by a vehicle this morning along University Avenue. Let's go live now over to CTV's Leanne Evans for all of the details for us. Leanne, we've just spoken with regional police about this collision. What have we learned?
Well, Tony, the woman, a pedestrian, was hit by a truck around 8:15 this morning. She was taken to hospital where she later died. It happened at a fairly busy intersection as well, University Avenue East and Marsland Drive. That's near the Conestoga College Waterloo campus. The driver of the truck, a 54-year-old Kitchener man, was not hurt. There was a heavy police presence on scene this morning, and the intersection was closed for several hours for the investigation. We spoke with police just a couple of hours ago about where this investigation stands.
Charges are anticipated. However, it will be any sort of charges will be a result of what the officers conclude happened as a result of the collision.
Police are asking anyone with information or dash cam video to contact them. The investigation is ongoing. Now, just hours later, at a busy Kitchener roundabout, another crash, this one between a pickup truck and cyclist. Just after 3 o'clock this afternoon, emergency services responded to the area of Homer Watson Boulevard and Blockline Road for reports of a crash between a truck and cyclist at the roundabout. The cyclist, an 86-year-old man, was taken to a local hospital. It's unclear the extent of his injuries at this time. The driver of the truck was not hurt. The investigation is ongoing, again, in the early stages as well, with this crash just happening late this afternoon. Police say they anticipate charges will be laid. Now, this roundabout is a major traffic hub, notoriously known for being a collision-prone area in Waterloo Region. To address that and improve pedestrian safety, the region started a pilot program at the intersection last summer. The upgrades included raised crosswalks and improved lighting at the roundabout. Officials plan to collect data over the year-long pilot and will share those results and recommendations with council about whether crosswalk improvements should be added to existing or new roundabouts. We should be expecting that in sometime this summer. Tony.
Okay, a lot to cover there with those developing details. Leanne, thank you so much. CTV's Leanne Evans watching that breaking news for us this evening. All right, time for a first check on the weather. Let's head over to Ashley Bacon in our studio with a decidedly even more summer-like day today. This week just gets better and better.
Wait till you see tomorrow, Tony. But let's talk about today, because you're right. It is beautiful out there, very summer-like. I was saying earlier, definitely an ice cream on the patio kind of afternoon. And you know what? As I just said, things are looking to like what Thursday is going to be even nicer. Summer-like conditions expected at least until then. We are going to see a little rain, but I'll have those details later in our forecast. Right now, let's pay attention to what's going on right now. Clear conditions are moving throughout the region at the moment. We will see, of course, a cloud or two, but overall, not bad. Right now, 27 degrees out there, believe it or not. A northwest wind at 19 kilometers an hour. So very nice conditions out there. A light breeze, maybe a light jacket if you feel the cold like myself. But for most people, I think just t-shirt weather out there this afternoon. And if we take a look at southern Ontario right now, very summer-like indeed, mid to high 20s throughout the entire region. And as I said, details on just how warm tomorrow is going to get, I'll have a little later in the show.
Okay,
Tony.
Ash, thank you so much. We'll talk to you shortly. Appreciate it. Hundreds of striking provincial government workers marched through the streets of Toronto today, calling for transparency on a surge in payments of tax dollars to private companies who administer public services. CTV's John Woodward reports.
When we fight, we win! Hundreds of community service workers with the union OPSU rallied in Yorkville Wednesday, hoping a demonstration of solidarity would help the 4,000 workers on strike or locked out province-wide.
We're burnt out, and we need more money to help us run our organization.
Patricia Crook hoping talks will secure funding for her Bloor Street Women's Drop-In Centre, others pointing to the Premier's controversial private jet purchase that's since been walked back.
He cut OSAP funding, and then all of a sudden he got a plane.
Saying it's a sign the provincial government has money to spare.
We're here today to demand transparency.
But what is firing up many rally-goers? A recent brief that counted funding to 3 private companies that administer government programs, surging past $1 billion a year.
That's huge. And so are we getting value for money? Where's the accountability?
The reason the union picked this location to rally is that is the headquarters of one of these companies. Union workers marching in protest to a ministry office on Bloor Street. The NDP saying in a statement the payments show contempt for taxpayers. Ontario's Labour Ministry saying 2 of those companies, WCG and Serco, served over 150,000 clients last year, up from 40,000 2 years before. Saying WCG and Serco were selected through open competitive processes and their funding is tied directly to performance. Legislature records indicate those companies have used lobbyists for years.
It seems to be a little bit of a circular logic, you know, they get taxpayer money to administer the services to pay the lobbyists who lobby the government for more taxpayer money.
Hornick calling for an audit to find out how the money is being spent and whether any more could be going to the front lines. John Woodward, CTV News.
Well, the stage is set now for contract talks between the provincial government and the unions representing Ontario's education workers. Today, the unions served a formal notice to bargain with the potential for job action as early as the fall. CTV's Siobhan Morris has more on what the unions are looking for and the likelihood that a deal can be reached by the time kids go back to school.
A united front from Ontario's major education unions, firing the starting pistol on collective bargaining, with contracts expiring at the end of August.
This round of bargaining is about improving learning conditions for students and working conditions for those who support them every day. The stakes are high.
Talks will start in the next 15 days. Union leaders are pushing for a cap on class sizes, better pay and benefits to keep teachers in the job, the end of mandatory e-learning, and more supports in special education.
We know there are many kids that are being left behind, falling between the cracks, that are being told they can't even come to school.
The Minister of Education said yesterday he's optimistic about a deal by Labor Day.
I want the absolute best for teachers, and I want a fair deal for taxpayers, and I think we're going to get there. There'll be some tough negotiations, obviously, but they're always tough.
Calandra says that's because of how passionate educators are.
We're looking forward to that collaboration. We're looking forward to that desire to work together. Haven't seen it yet, but we'll look at that as a positive statement.
But there is a willingness to take job action if the change union leaders say their members are desperate for is slow in coming.
57,000 CUPE education workers showed the government in 2022, and we're ready for this round.
4 years ago, Ontario schools were closed for 2 days after CUPE members walked out, angry over an imposed contract, one that was repealed. The start of bargaining in budget season when boards across Ontario are declaring hundreds of staff surplus, some 800 at the Toronto District School Board.
TDSB will see a decline of enrollment of over 5,000 students. That has a major impact, obviously, on budgets.
But educators say the notices go beyond what would make sense.
This is the first time, I believe, since 2019 that the secondary school teachers in the TDSB have received bumping notices, and that's significant.
A notice that teachers may have to move to a school far from home based on evolving needs.
That report from CTV's Siobhan Morris at Queen's Park. Well, the price of gas rose overnight, fueling concerns that drivers will be paying even higher prices during the summer. And experts say the fluctuation is expected to continue right into next season. That may not be the only worry for drivers, as we hear from CTV's Janice Golding.
After a brief dip in recent days, prices at the pumps climbed 6 cents overnight.
Yeah, really high.
I don't like it, but we can't control it.
Yeah, maybe I'm gonna drive less.
Gas is now sitting at 175.9 cents per liter.
That really sets the stage for even higher prices as we head into the rest of June and July, with global supplies diminishing rather rapidly.
While today's prices are still far lower than the peak in early May, which hit 195.9 cents per liter, Canadians for Affordable Energy says we can expect more volatility as the war in the Middle East rages on.
The rather discouraging news today that Iran has fired on both Bahrain and Kuwait.
Every time there's talk of a peace deal overseas, prices drop, and then when things collapse, prices bounce back up.
I'm not happy at all. I have a fleet of vehicles and it's costing me a lot of extra money. It depends on the month, but we're up $4,000 or $5,000 a month.
Given the conflict, shipping traffic along Iran's Strait of Hormuz has stalled, meaning oil exports from Persian Gulf states, which produce about 20% of the world's oil, are being prevented.
In the case of the United States, they produce 13.5 million barrels a day, but they consume 21 billion barrels.
Dan McTagg warns the U.S. will be facing a shortage by August.
Another 30, 40 days of this, and we are in very serious trouble.
A worldwide shortage will inevitably mean higher prices in Canada, something many people we spoke to say they don't want to deal with.
It's honestly a lot right now. Seeing that a lot more things are really expensive, so it's kind of hard for us to buy gas, so I may just be walking this entire summer.
Yeah, I have a wedding to go to this weekend, and that's basically it. Yeah.
No more travel for the summer?
No, you can't afford it.
Beyond that, McTagg says if this continues, sooner or later we'll even be dealing with rationing or other conservation efforts, something we haven't seen since the oil crisis of 1973.
All right, that was CTV's Janice Golding with that report. Well, just ahead, we're going to hear from Krista Simpson on that lengthy regional council meeting over the water crisis today, plus a food court fixture in Stratford, getting ready to call it a day. Just ahead, CTV's Jeff Pickle will tell us why the owner of Vinnie's Pizza says the ingredients just aren't there for a future.
I'm Karis Mapp here at Victoria Park in Kitchener, which is about to see some changes over the next decade. A new master plan has just been approved for this 130-year-old public space. We'll bring you some of the takeaways and hear from park users coming up.
Very comfortable conditions expected through the overnight hours ahead of what's looking like a very hot day. Those details with your full forecast coming up. Stay with us.
A Brantford man's homicide remains unsolved nearly a decade later.
I'm crying all the time. I miss him so much.
The lingering questions surrounding Jeffrey Roberts' death.
Backlash today over the region's building freeze. Developers urged council to get permits flowing again after they were paused over the ongoing water capacity concern. Now, that led to a long discussion and a path forward that could change again. CTV's Krista Simpson is just back from that very lengthy regional council meeting where this water capacity issue really came to a head in this discussion today, Krista.
Well, Tony, it was a marathon meeting. Council was reviewing the framework developed by regional staff on the path forward, one that would get some development moving again in September. But numerous concerns and questions were raised about the plan, and while it was ultimately passed, it was with a clause that council could change their minds when they have more information.
Imagine if your entire industry was shut down for 6 months. Like, that is what has effectively happened to our community right now.
A plea from the development industry asking the region to let building resume. According to a survey done by the Waterloo Region Home Builders Association,
more than 5,000 approved homes cannot be built. Over $500 million in private investment is frozen. More than 1,500 tradespeople and workers are affected. These are not projections. These are real, approved, shovel-ready projects that have been stopped.
At a special council meeting Wednesday, regional staff put forward an interim risk management framework that would allow some new development projects to move forward around September 2026, once the pilot side stream project at Mannheim Water Treatment Centre goes through testing. The new framework would mean there would be some water capacity for development in the Mannheim service area, letting the affected municipalities come up with their own bylaws on how to approve projects based on the water capacity allotted to each. But developers and some members of council raised concerns it didn't go far enough on a few fronts.
I'm hearing and I'm feeling, quite frankly, that collectively, as an organization, I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, we're not hearing the urgency, the economic impact, the reputational damage that is falling upon us at the region of Waterloo because of this issue. I'm hearing desperate cries for us to be doing more and to be doing it quicker.
Councillor Michael Harris recommended a series of amendments, including one advocated by a number of developers, establishing a water resiliency target of 10%, below the region's long-term stated goal of having a 20% buffer for shutdowns and emergencies. But the interim framework developed by staff doesn't actually hold to a firm target for the next while, leading to a debate and this appeal from the region's interim commissioner of water and wastewater services.
We as staff are very concerned about the track that you're currently taking. If you give us a fixed amount of resiliency, we do not have an interim risk management framework. It will not work.
Ignoring the staff recommendations, Council is expressing its will to take on that liability as individuals. And I would urge them to consider how you would want to guarantee that hospitals and schools and daycares will have access to safe drinking water if such a catastrophe were to occur here again without sufficient resilience in the system.
In the end, councillors voted to approve the staff framework and voted to have a provincial land facilitator review some of the proposals suggested Wednesday, like the 10% resiliency target, with Wilmot Mayor Natasha Salonen noting that if more information comes forward after those discussions, council can ask for changes then. All agreeing that some decisions had to be made to start moving towards development again. Developer Joseph Pupolo says there's still a lot to sort out.
I'm hoping that we find creative ways to unlock as much capacity as we can for development in the near term while balancing that with the protection of the system. I think inevitably we have to protect both things, and there has to be further negotiation to figure out what that middle ground is, because I don't think we clearly did not achieve that today in the council chamber.
In another development today, council approved a plan to draw more water from Wilmot, an additional 15 litres per second on an interim basis, but they also agreed to a request by Wilmot's mayor to add more protections for residents whose wells might be impacted. Tony.
All right, a lot of developments to round up. Krista, thank you. CTV's Krista Simpson reporting live for us. A plan for the future of one of Waterloo Region's oldest parks is coming into focus. A new master plan for Kitchener's Victoria Park has just been endorsed by City Council, along with a long list of suggestions. CTV's Karis Mapp is live in Victoria Park now to tell us more about this. And Karis, of course, this park's been around since the 1890s. It's really become one of the most iconic spaces in the region.
That's right, Tony. Last year alone, this park saw roughly 4.5 million visitors, and that was everyday users as well as people stopping by to enjoy the many major events hosted here. Now, the master plan is a lengthy 150 pages, but the changes are intended to carry the park into the future. Victoria Park, a spot to gather and a staple in Kitchener.
Victoria Park is by far the most beautiful feature of Kitchener.
There's a nice buzz, pedestrian buzz.
And a place where memories have been made for 130 years.
I've been coming here since my daughter was just learning to crawl 26 years ago. And I've been here every day since.
When I was a little boy, my family and I
came over here to see what the park looks like.
And now, a master plan for its future has been unanimously approved by City Council. It lays out 32 recommendations.
It's a plan to determine what changes need to be made in the park, and it's been going on staff has been working on it for the past 3 years.
From upgrading buildings to adding more lighting and improved electrical connections, the list is long. Some of it will be happening over the next 2 years.
Replacing of the surface underneath the playground here behind us. Also, they've already taken down the picnic shelter, and that will be replaced.
Other popular features will be addressed down the road, like replacing and moving the splash pad, along with upgrades to public washrooms, trails, seating areas, and adding more parking.
I definitely think the splash pad needs an upgrade. Like, it's outdated, but in comparison to all the other splash pads, it's not much to look at, you know? Pretty basic. Some of the things don't even work anymore. So it'd be cool to have it upgraded.
Upgrades aiming to help people enjoy the park for all it has to offer, including its simplicity.
There are certain features that you don't want to lose, and by a romantic landscape style park has a lot of open green spaces, so you don't necessarily want to populate it with features in every little space.
And all of this coming at a cost. The short-term projects alone over the next 2 years will cost $2.3 million. After that, it will be up to City Council to decide how much to spend and when to carry out the rest of the list. Now, anyone interested in seeing a full list of those recommendations can head over to our website. There is a link there at ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
Okay, Karis Map in a very busy Victoria Park on this Wednesday evening. Karis, thank you for that. A longtime Stratford pizza restaurant will serve its last pie later this month. The owner of Vinnie's Pizza in the Stratford Mall says the pandemic and a change in mall ownership have spelled out the end of a 33-year staple. CTV's Jeff Pickle has the story.
Vinnie's Pizza is a major part of Brittany Sage's life.
I was just looking for my first job and I applied, and yeah, I've been here ever since.
From her first job at 15 to becoming the owner 5 years later, Sage says serving up fresh slices, pasta, and salads is a passion.
I just loved what I did, and she was retiring, and I decided to buy it from her because I love what I did and I just wanted to keep doing it.
But after 33 years in operation, Vinnie's, located in the Stratford Mall, is closing on June 20th. Sage says the business never fully recovered from the effects of the pandemic.
So since COVID, I've actually been working 2 years by myself with no employees, just trying to make ends meet. I did get the $60K business loan from the government, but unfortunately it was expected to be paid back in 2 years. And obviously that's very hard.
Sage says the sale of the mall in 2022 and an increase in rent proved to be too much to overcome.
I tried to make it work despite everything because my heart is in this.
The current mall ownership say when they took over the shopping center, Vinnie's lease had already expired, saying in a statement to protect their tenancy, ownership offered them a new long-term lease to which they declined. Ownership allowed the tenant to continue to operate on a month-to-month basis, even though it's not their standard policy. With a planned upcoming mall renovation and while struggling to meet financial obligations, Vinnie's say they were told they were done. Mall ownership say Stratford Mall worked extensively with the tenant over a number of years and made significant efforts to support the business and help it succeed. Sage says she wishes there was more runway to turn things around.
If it was about the money, I probably would have closed up shop a long time ago. But my heart's been in this, and this is my passion. This is what I love to do. Despite
serving Stratford with award-winning pizza, Sage says she is not able to relocate the store.
It's just not financially feasible right now. People don't realize how small businesses are really still struggling to get through COVID times.
After a summer of rest, Sage says her post-Vinnie's journey will begin. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Stratford.
And we take you back live outside now to Victoria Park in Kitchener. What a gorgeous evening to be enjoying Victoria Park, Waterloo Park, any of the outdoor spaces in our region. Just a beautiful end to a summer-like day. Ashley's back in just a couple of moments to tell us about a little bit more heat that we're expecting as the week goes on. Also ahead, CTV's Colton Weens introduces us to a champion racehorse from Puss Lynch looking to defend an impressive record. And next, the shifting approach with tariffs. what the U.S. is setting its sights on now and how Canada's responding. Back in a moment. Okay, Ashley's back with our forecast, and before we get into that, I just want to sort of put a pin in everything that we had last night, put a bow on it, because we had, once again, at the Memorial Cup Victory Parade and Party, and by the way, go Rangers.
Go Rangers.
We had so many of our viewers come up and say hello, and I just want to thank all of them for doing so, because, you know, you get out in a moment like that and you realize the relationship we have with you, who we visit in your homes each and every night.
Well, it was such a fun event to be part of, I'm sure. And I mean, I know the ones that were stuck here were a little jealous we had to be here, but it looks like a lot of fun.
They all did say hello to Leanne and Ashley.
Oh, well, that's so sweet. Well, hello everyone back, and thank you for watching, and thank you for showing your support whenever we're in field.
And the weather could not have been better for that parade.
That was all me. You're welcome.
It was all you, and so was today. And I'm glad that the extra heat waited until today, because it was nice to have it offset by a bit of a breeze yesterday while there were so many people together.
The big news is no humidity.
That's right.
So that makes such a huge difference. So this is really the key time of year to get out there and enjoy it. And check this out from Victoria Park. All of these folks out there enjoying this evening, because it is a picture perfect afternoon. Look, some kids still in the splash pad, Tony. It is that warm out now, considering we are still in spring. You know, we will still see a couple more weeks before summer has officially arrived, but temperature-wise, you would not know the difference. And the great news is tomorrow is shaping up to be even warmer and even sunnier. So we are in for another great day as we take a look at our futurecast. Nothing but clear skies for the next few hours. Overnight, we might get a cloud or two, but generally speaking, pretty perfect conditions if you like to watch the stars. And of course, come tomorrow if you're a fan of the sunshine, because we are in for a great day. We're going to see some rain a little later in the week, but right now let's focus on what's happening across the country. Prince George 22 with a mix of sun and cloud, 21 in Vancouver, 18 in Victoria. Calgary, mostly sunny conditions, and 17. Through the prairie provinces, a little cooler, a little wetter. Saskatoon seeing some rain in 16, 17 for Regina, 13 in Thompson, but Winnipeg sitting comfortable at 23. Now the east coast of the country definitely feeling a bit warmer as we start in Ontario and Quebec, 29 in Ottawa, 28 for Montreal, Quebec City, and Sudbury. 22 even up in Thunder Bay. And further east, conditions almost as nice. A little cooler in Newfoundland, 9 in Corner Brook, 11 in St. John's. But overall, very much summer-like. Right now, 27 degrees in Waterloo Region. As we move to overnight, temperatures expected to dip to 11, so not nearly as cool as we've seen the last few days. Still think it might be window open before AC weather, but that'll be up to you to decide. For me, I like things a little warmer than most. 29 degrees is going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. Very hot out there, a UV index of 9 or very high. So if you are spending some time out there, make sure you are being sun safe. Cover up your skin. Just as a reminder, 22 is what we should see this time of year. So 27 today, 29 tomorrow. Above seasonal, not quite record breaking, but without that humidity, as I said earlier, it is feeling perfect. Now take a look at this. And I know rain on the weekends, not fun, but the temperatures remain strong. And the good news is we're going to need rain eventually.
It's only 40%.
It's only a 40%.
Yeah,
so, you know, that means 40% of the area will see some showers.
So the solution to that is just be in the other 60% of the region.
Yeah, just go to a different park for a couple of hours and enjoy a walk there. But overall, look at that. We are very much summer-like conditions for the next few days. And it gives you an opportunity to get inside maybe and finish your indoor chores, your spring cleaning indoors. Lambton, Kent, Essex, similar to see 30 and 31 to round out this week. So very warm there, 28 for the weekend. And lastly, in southern Georgian Bay, again, very nice conditions. 23 for your Thursday, 27 for Friday, and then mid-20s moving forward. So not too bad at all. Let's take a look at today's weather watcher picture sent in from Jim, who spotted this bullfrog in a pond south of Cambridge. And he asked, is this possibly Jeremiah?
Well, Jeremiah was a bullfrog, as we know.
I thought you would like that, Tony.
That was so good. I didn't even know that was coming.
I know.
That was great. Thank you, Jim. What a beautiful, detailed shot.
Great photo of this incredible bullfrog. Thank you so much for sharing.
Bullfrog looks like he couldn't be any less enthusiastic about it, though.
It might be a little warm for him. I'm not sure, though.
That's right. All right, Ash, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, the Trump administration's taking a new approach to tariffs after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down its previous ones. The focus now, curbing imports made with forced labor, and a proposed new 10% tariff on Canada and other partners who allegedly fail to comply. Here's CTV's Abigail Beeman now.
Hello. Just hours after the U.S.-Canada trade minister said he had a positive meeting with Jamieson Greer, Greer's office said Canada is among the countries that could be hit with a new 10% tariff for failing to take action on forced labor. The failure of our most important trading partners to address the importation of goods made with forced labor is unacceptable. This creates a dynamic where American workers are forced to compete globally on an unlevel playing field, Greer said.
This is not a surprise.
The Prime Minister pointed out the vast majority of goods fall under the Canada-U.S.-Mexico free trade deal and won't be impacted. He says Canada supports the overall objective.
We made some changes earlier this year on things that candidly were not as effective, so there's ways we can change things legislatively. We'll be proposing that to the House in the coming weeks.
LeBlanc wouldn't answer whether he and Greer discussed Canada's move to allow some Chinese EVs into the market.
We don't discuss publicly the content of private conversations or private discussions.
U.S.-Canada expert Christopher Sands says the U.S. is intentionally moving some trade irritants outside CUSMA.
The good news is that might mean the USMCA could move as far as renewal, or that the negotiations could be more constructive going forward. The bad news is this is designed to keep the U.S. with leverage, even if we renew USMCA, because we have the other issues that we could use to impose tariffs on Canada.
Now, these tariffs aren't in place just yet. Experts say important to point out there is a process. The USTR will hold hearings about them July 7th. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Washington.
The price of streaming services becomes a political football. Just ahead, why the federal government is stepping in over a decision that could lead to Canadians paying more. The federal government's demanding the CRTC review a recent decision that could lead to Canadians paying more for streaming services. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more.
The federal government appears to be backing away from its fight to force streaming giants to pay more for Canadian content, one day after what Canada called positive trade talks in Washington.
It's no secret to anyone that's been paying any attention to this that the USTR has identified these issues as a trade issue. It would be disingenuous to suggest that this is the single issue. The reality is we're impatient to make sure that this sector stays vital and stays supported.
Last month, the CRTC announced it was tripling the amount companies like Netflix and Disney had to pay for Canadian content, increasing fees from 5% of their Canadian revenue to 15%, a move the Conservatives strongly opposed.
When we debated this in the House of Commons, the Liberals faux-pas us. They made it sound like it was no big deal, that this tax was being widely accepted. That's not true.
Days after saying they couldn't act, Ottawa is now asking the CRTC to review that decision, saying it could increase costs for consumers.
It's actually good to see the government admitting that some of their the choices that they've made in terms of the legislation, in terms of the regulations, are actually going to have downstream impacts on consumers.
But many experts say it's about more than affordability. It's about appeasing the Americans who have repeatedly called the Online Streaming Act a trade irritant.
The CRTC's move was largely seen as provocative, an annoyance, an irritant to those trade negotiations. And so essentially what the federal government is doing is removing that annoyance from the playing field.
The streaming companies' fees were supposed to help Canadian producers, but no money has ever gone out. It's all been tied up in the courts. To help that industry, the Canadian government today announced a $600 million investment. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Nearly 100 years after its founding, Zellers is back again. The new owners of Zellers will soon relaunch the brand in Ontario. A new discount storefront is set to open in Toronto June 18th. Another will open in Windsor in July. The Ontario stores will also sell snack foods and toys. The Bonita family bought the rights to the Zellers name last year. The family is also behind apparel stores Fairweather and International Clothiers. All right, time to update our top stories now. Alexandra Hollick back in studio with me tonight with all the latest. We've got two serious collisions that we've been keeping an eye on Waterloo Region roads today.
That's right, Tony. First, a pedestrian fatality in Waterloo around 8:15 this morning. Police say a 23-year-old woman is dead after she was hit by a driver in a straight truck at University Avenue East and Marsland Drive. And just this afternoon in Kitchener, an 86-year-old cyclist was hit by a pickup truck driver at the roundabout at Homer Watson Boulevard and Block Line Road. He was transported to a local hospital with injuries. Police are expecting to lay charges in both incidents. Waterloo Region's development industry is looking to get building flowing again after new projects were paused over water capacity concerns. In a lengthy meeting today, Regional Council ultimately approved a path forward that could see some development moving as soon as this September. However, the plan could change when Council receives more information.
And Alexandra, looking at what our digital team is working on over on the website, summer, I mean, it feels like it today, but it's actually just around the corner, and that means festival season as well. Lots to take in.
That's right, Tony, and our digital team has all of the details on all the festivities and events you don't want to miss, from Pride celebrations to FIFA World Cup watch parties and even a pirate festival. We have a full list up on our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca, and you can also check it out by downloading the CTV News app. Tony, you might have to check out some of these festivals.
I agree, and if we could copy-paste the weather today for every festival day, I think we'd be all set.
Absolutely.
Going to be a good one. Thanks, Alexandra. Appreciate it. Lawyers and insurance providers are raising concerns about changes coming to auto insurance in Ontario. The province says it is all about lowering costs for drivers and giving them more choice, but experts say that opting out of some coverage creates major risks. CTV's Stefan Keys reports.
With plenty of vehicles on the road and rush hour congestion at heightened levels, run-ins and accidents in the capital are very possible.
Yeah, I got rear-ended.
Auto insurance is mandatory for any vehicle owner, but come July 1st, rules and options are about to change.
What is the risk?
That's the big question, and lawyers and insurance brokers don't want you to get caught off guard.
The income replacement is the biggest thing that's going to become optional. Now it's a staple on your policy, and you have to purchase income replacement going forward. So if your policy renews with it, then if you take it away, there could be some savings there, but the savings, the risk will outweigh the savings.
In addition to income replacement, big-ticket insurance items like death benefits, damage to personal items will also become optional amongst a number of other things. And while the driver may save a few dollars a month, it leaves a level of vulnerability that even cycling advocates are uncomfortable with.
Yes, it's something that is very significant for cyclists in this province. So before July 1st, 2026, any cyclist that was involved in a motor vehicle accident, say they were struck by a vehicle, can access a policy of insurance to access accident benefits. Now, the people who can access benefits will be reduced with the changes.
So if the cyclist, for example, doesn't have their own auto insurance and had a run-in with a car, they may not be able to access a driver's insurance and could be spending months in the court system after filing a lawsuit. Even then, some drivers who have filed claims say coverage can be tricky when insurance providers deny it anyway, leaving them to question if the risk may be worth the monthly reward of saving several dollars.
So you need to pay the insurance because you have to. But do the insurance actually respond, when you need it?
Stefan Keys, CTV News, Ottawa.
The best of Bojangles just ahead. CTV's Colton Weens tells us about the racehorse from Puss Lynch that's looking to ride into a remarkable winning streak.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
A champion racehorse is looking to stay undefeated this season after winning all 15 races he's competed in. Bojangles trains in Puslinch and will try to qualify for a $1 million race in Milton this weekend. Here's CTV's Colton Weens now with more on the horse and the people keeping him in top gear.
Not afraid to let his presence be known, Bojangles seems to know he's one of the best.
Oh, he's just about the best one we have, I guess.
His attitude, his demeanor, you know, he knows what he is, and he makes sure everyone around him knows what he is.
The Ontario-bred champion harness racer has quickly made a name for himself, going undefeated in every race he's run during his lifetime.
It's about 1.8 million now, I think, in Canadian dollars, and he is, let me see, 15 for 15 now after 12 wins as a 2-year-old last year. Bojangles received Horse of the Year not only in Canada but in the U.S. as well, and never left Canada, and that's the first time that's ever happened.
The standard bred trains in Puslinch under the guidance of Dr. Ian Moore, who says he looked a little oversized at first, but only got stronger while staying light on his feet.
Time we got to about 6 for 6 with this guy, we were starting to smile a little bit and think this might be all right.
Like any top-tier athlete, those who know him say he has a desire to win.
He loves it. We get to the track and we walk in the paddock and he's roaring and screaming, letting everyone know he's there. And
beautiful gait to him and very light, and he's got tremendous will and desire to race against whatever's around him.
And his attitude stands out a little more than most.
I'm not as laid back as some of the other ones I look after. You know, I do have to watch my back with him sometimes because he will sneak up and bite me.
Dr. Moore says this is probably Bojangles' last year racing before he's likely to become a commercial breeding stallion. On Saturday, he'll be at Woodbine Mohawk Park in Milton trying to qualify for the prestigious Pepsi North America Cup in hopes of competing for the $1 million prize the following weekend.
I hope so, but it's horse racing and anything can happen.
We try to apply good management in everything we do and hope that everything falls in place.
Bojangles will go for his 16th win in a row on Saturday, then we'll go for the $1 million on June 13th at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Colton Weens, CTV News, Puslinch.
A little stare down at the end there. Bojangles and Colton becoming friends today. Gotta love that, Ash. You gotta wonder how many takes Colton did there too.
Oh my goodness, I'm supposed to talk about weather after that, Tony?
Right?
That's hilarious. Well, it's a perfect day to go out for a horse ride, probably. But I will have more information on what tomorrow will look like just after this break. Stay with us. Coming up on CTV, E-Talk at 7, followed by The Big Bang Theory, then MasterChef at 8, The Floor at 9, and back-to-back Big Bang to cap off your night.
KW's Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Listen all summer for your chance to win. Turn the lights off, carry me home. With Bounce to your backyard.
All right, let's join CTV's Alexandra Hollick now, who will be here with your next local news tonight at 11:30. Alexandra.
Tony, we'll be keeping a close eye on any updates coming out of today's collisions in Waterloo and Kitchener. A 23-year-old pedestrian was killed and an 86-year-old cyclist was taken to hospital in 2 separate incidents. Police have not shared the extent of the cyclist's injuries, but say they expect charges to be laid in both cases. We'll have the latest on the investigations and more local news later at 11:30. Tony.
All right, Alexandra, thank you for that. Of course, that's right after the CTV National News. And Ashley, our Thursday wake-up weather, this temperature still trending up as the week goes on.
It's going to be a warm one tomorrow. You're definitely going to want to pack a couple of extra waters tomorrow to keep hydrated and maybe check on your neighbors too. We're getting into that time of the year where things get hot and we got to make sure everybody around us is looking okay. Take a look at that, Tony. By 10 a.m., we're already going to see 23 degrees. Mainly sunny conditions, a very high UV index of 9 is expected. So do make sure you are being sun safe tomorrow and and enjoy it. Get out and enjoy it while that humidity is at bay.
It is absolutely gorgeous while we don't have that stifling humidity attached to it. So yes, we'll take advantage of this opportunity. And finally for us tonight, a unique scavenger hunt in a Toronto neighborhood tied to the upcoming World Cup. The goal was to find 51 beaver sculptures, each designed by an artist to represent the countries taking part in the tournament.
CTV's Rahim Ladani went out on the Great Beaver Quest.
Old Town Toronto often feels like a fairy tale. Maybe it's the playful dogs or the ever-still birds trying not to draw a cat's attention. And now this Narnia-like neighborhood has a new inhabitant.
I found so many beavers and they're so cute.
Not one or two or even three, but 51 beavers have ditched their dams for this urban oasis, representing nations competing in the upcoming FIFA World Cup.
I think it's a great opportunity for folks to get out there and see parts of Toronto, even if they live here.
The quirky rodents are part of a scavenger hunt put on by the Old Town Toronto BIA. Anyone can download the Great Canadian Beaver Quest app.
It's like keeping me from not being bored. It's giving me something to do when I'm walking around.
The more beavers you find and snap pics with, the greater chance you have of winning gift cards from local businesses.
I think the city trying to expand that zone of influence and keep it not just in that Liberty Village kind of area and make it a citywide thing. That's exciting.
Each lifelike sculpture is hand-painted by a local artist. This beaver draws from Turkish tile and pottery traditions and florals that define the culture's language.
It really shines the light on Toronto's amazing artistic scene and the amazing talent that we have across the GTA.
This contest closes on August 16th. After that, these beavers are going to be auctioned off, with the funds going towards a local charity. Rahim Ladani, CTV News, Old City, Toronto.
Well, some good branding for our country while the world is in town, right?
Very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw moose a few years back. I can't remember what they were associated with. I was out of the country at the time.
Yes.
But now having the beavers around, that's quite neat.
Yep, it's that's Canadiana. That is for sure.
Yeah.
And not long now before the World Cup excitement begins.
Oh my goodness, just days away at this rate.
Close. Yep. Have a great night. Alexandra's here with your next news at 11:30. Take care.